Hey guys, and welcome to Random Bits of Randomness. Today we are just going to talk about three random news stories, not really random news stories, just three interesting news stories that have been going on over the past couple weeks, and we're just going to go over our opinions. And if you want to leave your opinions down in the comments below, that'd be awesome. But let's jump right into it. I'm here with John,
Hey,
and yeah, do we have any announcements from this last week, John?
we launched the website, but besides that, no.
Yeah, so we've got our game Smell launched, so that's cool, and that's going to be updated weekly. And we are going to have the game out December 20th, so mark your calendars if you like puzzle games. Anyways, jumping right into it, the first story is one I've already covered. I'm just going to throw a little update on there, the Epic one. John, do you know much about the Epic controversy?
No, not really.
So, Epic basically sued Apple. Well, they didn't even sue at first, they just took their own payment system and put them in app to override Apple's payment system, and consequently, Apple was like, "Hey, we want our 30% cut, and you broke the terms of service." So they took them off the App Store. Then Epic sued Apple. They also did the same thing with Google, and Google took them down as well. And they're suing them, saying that you guys are breaking the law by having a monopoly, and that's where it started.
Uh-huh. Has anyone won?
No, no one's won yet. But something interesting is there's now a huge dogpile on Apple. WordPress had a big problem because they had some they had some subscriptions they were advertising within their app for other services within their stuff, and Apple got mad at them because people would have to sign up for these other subscriptions off the app because it was for other stuff, but there was some in-app features with it too. That's something Netflix did to get around it, and even though it worked for Netflix, Apple actually started getting after WordPress, and there was a lawsuit filed, and Apple actually backed off on that one. But yeah, Apple was getting mad at WordPress. Besides that, a couple news agencies were getting mad at Apple because they are getting charged their percent, and I don't know how Apple News works, but apparently they force other news agencies to use the Apple News app. They can't create their own. That sounds weird to me, but that's what I was reading. And besides all of that, it looks like Epic is also wanting to create their own game store on the Apple, like kind of like, you know how Google, you can have multiple game stores. Everyone uses Google, but there's also Samsung and a few other companies out there that have them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Epic wants to be able to do that, kind of like they have their Epic game store on the PC. They want to do it there. Anyways, yeah, there's just a big dogpile going on there. Microsoft is siding with Epic. Oh yeah, and Apple tried to take down the Unreal Game Engine. Any game that was made with Unreal Game Engine from the App Store, the judge said, we're going to hold off on that. You might be able to still do it, but we want to finish this lawsuit first, and we don't want that to force Epic out of there. So there's a lot going on with it. What's your opinion on any of it?
So just looking up numbers real quick, my first opinion is Apple sucks. What the heck? Google Pay is to register an app onto it, it's $25 one time and your app's on it. Apple, you have to do $100 every single year if you want it to be honest.
On top of the 3% they already charge.
So, going off of that, I think it would make a lot more sense if Google got mad. Apple shouldn't be like this. I don't know. I think they should sue Apple. I think everyone should hate on Apple until they get them changed. I don't know. If they're already paying $100 a year to have your app, they should not care what you're doing to get money from the app to yourself. They shouldn't be taking any more cuts.
I agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I think Apple sucks. Everyone hate on Apple. Don't ever buy Crapple. They are one of the worst companies in the world. That being said, I feel like it is their product. They can do what they want. They can control it like they want because they're the ones who created the ecosystem. They're the ones who created it. There are people who are buying Apple want that ecosystem they created, but that ecosystem is maintained via Apple's control.
I mean, at the same time, you could compare the Apple Store to kind of the market in America, where Apple's kind of its own. I know this is really changing the scope of it, but the technology is such a new thing with what you can and cannot do. I don't know my opinion exactly on this, but if you think about it, if the App Store is kind of like the government in a way, then even though it's its own country, that doesn't mean that it should be able to do whatever it wants. we should also be able to choose. Now, obviously, I don't actually have that entire opinion because it's a lot smaller than a government or country.
Yeah, I feel like technology is changing things. I mean, Apple was founded in a day before the internet was even really a big thing, right?
Hmm.
So I do feel like it's changing it, and that is affecting it different. And I think Apple is going to fall behind because they aren't getting into the new world like everyone else. They aren't getting into the freedom. The world's moving towards more and more freedom, and Apple's very anti that.
Hmm.
That being said, I feel like it's the same thing. Like you just gotta let them die. Because think about Walmart. If you could literally make the same argument with Walmart that they have to let other people
Uh-huh.
sell their stuff in there, and Walmart chooses the fee of all the products sold inside of Walmart, and Amazon chooses the fee
Hmm.
of all the. Like my wife sold on Amazon. Amazon chose what fee she had to pay Amazon for all of her selling. So
Hmm. No,
I
I'll
don't.
side. I'll
Oh,
probably
what?
side with Apple on this one because I think that they should be able to do whatever they want, but I think everyone
I
should
agree.
just give up Apple.
I agree, except for the WordPress one and where they were trying to start making it so any subscription you do, even if you sign up off of Apple, you still had to pay. They were trying to force WordPress to put the option to buy it in the app and force them to pay the fee, even with people trying to buy it outside of the app. That part pissed me off, and that part I really disagree with. You can't force that. But
Hmm.
besides that, I think Apple is in their right. That being said, I think they're shooting themselves in the foot because no one's gonna like them after this.
Yeah, I don't think Apple's in the right. I think Apple's in the legal right, but I don't think it's in the moral right. I don't think it
No,
is in the
I
right.
agree. Yeah, sorry, I said that bad. I agree. Morally, what they're doing is wrong. That's why I said they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's going to come back to bite them.
Hmm.
I think legally
Yeah.
they are in the right, and there's almost two morals. I've got maybe it's too nuanced. I feel like morally they should have control. Morally, I think they should have control over it. I don't think legally we should take away their control over their source, right?
Hmm.
So even on the moral standpoint of that, yeah, they are in their right. But on a moral standpoint of being good people, they shouldn't be using that right that they have in this
Uh-huh.
way. That being said, that's Joe Schmo talking. I don't have any app store. I haven't created any of that stuff. So obviously, they're doing something better than I'm doing. So take my opinion with a
Hmm.
grain of salt.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was number one. No, number two, the thing we want to talk about is Facebook and the Oculus. Have you seen the big news about them that happened over the last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, Oculus is switching over to Facebook, forcing people to link the IDs. If you haven't already, then you're going to have to down the road, 2 years down the road, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, what's your opinion of it?
My opinion, most people are scared because Facebook is known or has been known
For
to
bad
kind
privacy?
of steal, or not steal, but yeah, just bad with privacy. They kind of have a problem with that. But I don't think this matters because it'll be a different story if Facebook took over Vive. That would be a completely different story. But given that Facebook is changing like kind of taking over its own thing, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
there's no, I don't see any difference besides maybe I don't know. Honestly, I don't really see any difference. I actually really like Facebook. They may have had problems, but I use most of their services, so I can't really say, "Oh, this is terrible." But I'm going to go use Instagram, and Messenger now.
So I have a slightly different opinion than you on this one.
Mhm.
My thing is, yeah, it's their ecosystem. They can do what they want, and I understand if they're going to require people moving forward to do that. That's no problem with me. And I understand it's going to make it so a lot of social platforms and stuff are going to be easier to run because you're not going to have to integrate two different accounts. So we'll do that. However, I believe that in order to use most social features right now, you have to use a Facebook account anyways. Like I couldn't do any of the social stuff I do if I didn't connect my accounts like I did. So
Mhm.
that's kind of a moot point right there. My only problem is the very early backers to it because people who the first couple years when Facebook got it, they were telling everyone, "Look, we're never going to force you to merge your Oculus accounts to your Facebook account." They actually said that, and the fact that they're doing it now when these people bought it with the premise of that. That's where I think the problem is. I actually think that's a lawsuit waiting to happen, because that was a 100% reversal of a promise that was made when people were buying it on the time.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you've got an Oculus account or you have a Facebook account. It's literally the same company. I don't see the difference. Like, personally, it doesn't affect me more if they're on my Facebook account or Oculus account, because it's the same company. They're the same people running it. So, I mean, if you're worried about Facebook's privacy, you should have been worried about Oculus privacy. It's the same company. They're going to not have any different morals. Their ethics and standpoints are the exact same. So, from that perspective, yeah, I don't give a crap. But from just the perspective of, hey, you said one thing and now you're doing the other, that's my only problem with it.
Mm-hmm. I want to, so I can't find the exact quote of what he said. He said, so the Oculus founder Palmer Luckey promised in no uncertain terms that users would never be required to log in with Facebook to Oculus headsets. I want to see the exact quote, or was the exact quote? Because
well, you're looking it up. So you look up that quote. I'll keep talking for a minute then.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I do want to say is, how long does that promise last? I mean, we are now on a couple generation headsets past that point. I guess one generation if you're just with the Rift, but we're way past that point, and I'm not saying right now is the time, because it's only a couple years. Headsets go fast, but at
given that he
some
said the
point,
word, given the word that he said never,
yeah, no,
that's a pretty
I
big
agree. But the
promise.
question is, with new content coming forward. So, say you have a new game that only runs on new headsets; it doesn't run on the old headset.
Uh-huh.
What is, like, when I hear never, I assume with the current generation of stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like if you have a headset one, everything that it's able to run and it runs should never be a problem. But maybe down the road, if something doesn't even run on this, you have to get the new headsets. There can be different promises. That's my own personal opinion. However, that's why you don't say absolutes. That was a big oof on their part by putting an absolute in that, promise.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find the quote?
Okay, this is what he said. Okay? This is what Palmer Luckey said 6 years ago when he sold or gave Oculus up to Facebook. He said, I guarantee that you won't need to log into your Facebook account every time you want to use the Oculus Rift.
Okay.
So given that, Facebook's not even contradicting themselves. If you merge them and use your Facebook account, all they have to do is not have you log into your Facebook account every time to use the Oculus Quest. Which is fine, you just do it once. And then you have it.
Even that. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. Every time, you're right. Yeah, not have to log in every time, but not just that. The Quest is not even the Rift, and when you hear that statement, you're probably assuming they're talking about, that's like what I was saying. It's the Rift, not the Rift S or any of the further generations.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that the Rift S is going to go the way. I think everything's going to be a quest line down the road.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I kind of skimmed through this entire thing. It's not super long. We'll post a link to the Reddit post so you could read it yourself. Honestly, he didn't make that big of a promise. And
everyone's kind of read into it a little too far then.
Yeah, I think so.
If you guys know what we're missing, post in the comments, because yeah, from what I've seen from everything, one, they're both Facebook, but two, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, and like I don't know. That's just my opinion. You guys let us know what you think down below. Anyways, should we move on to the third topic?
Yeah, let's move on to the third topic.
Third topic is Five Nights at Freddy's is getting a Fanverse. Did you see the comment? Oh, this one actually was suggested to us by Awkward Lunacy. Did you look at the thing he sent us at all?
No, but was it a DLC?
No. So I think this is actually really cool, and I think more games should do this. A lot of games fight with their biggest fans, because their biggest fans are the ones creating extra content, and they're always fighting with them. This fight, I mean, Scott Cawthon's always been pretty good on it. He's not gotten after people for making fan art or anything, at least to the fullness of my extent. Or, wow. At least as much as I know, and to the fullness of my knowledge, he's not gone after people. Like, I know that Star Wars has gone after people, and Star Wars has also used fan art for their stuff, and been in trouble for it a couple times in the past by using stuff that wasn't even their own stuff. They just thought it was cool and they used it unlicensed and whatnot. So there's been problems with that. Nintendo is always fighting people, anyone who creates fan games, except somehow that VR Pokemon game's still around, and I'm happy because it's a fun game. But all that being said, Scott Cawthon's always been pretty chill with it. But this is taking chill one step further. He's actually creating some content and getting it distributed, but he's not actually creating it. He's just working with people who've created some of the biggest fan games and making them officially licensed, like parts of FNAF. They're not. I don't think they add to the lore or anything. It's the Fanverse. It's probably like an alternate universe, but it'll just be a pack of games. They'll bundle together, and you can then buy a bunch of fan games on like the PlayStation Store and on your phones and other places you wouldn't normally be. It's not just like free websites. So this way, the content creators who are fans can make money making fan games of FNAF.
Yeah, no, that's intense. Looking at it, yeah, no, that's pretty cool. What is his name? Scott Cawthon's always been super chill with his fans, and it's always been nice because there's been hundreds of fan games, and he probably could have easily gotten all of them out, but I think he likes it because it's free publicity. What?
I think there was one game he got out that was basically a recreation of one of his games, which makes sense, but one of the games is going to be a recreation and reimagining of FNAF 1 by the guy who made the recreation of FNAF 2, and that one's the only one that was taken down. But he still apparently is working with him to do a reimagining of FNAF 1 and get it published as part of this. So, yeah, that's really cool. I don't have a whole lot to say on this, except I just think that's awesome. I think more people should do it. I think, again, Nintendo's old. They're used to the way the world was, and with the internet, there's no way to really fight it. So this way, Scott he's seen as awesome by his fans. I'm sure he gets a cut from all the sales, so he makes extra money, doesn't have to spend any time developing it, keeps the fan base alive and helps them grow stronger, and yeah, I don't see any downside to this, and I think more companies should do it.
If you're playing on PC, all of the games are free. If you're playing on mobile or console, then you have to pay for all of the games.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, just looking at it.
It's intense. But still, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of people don't have PCs, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's
a lot of people will have to still pay for it. But it's still, I mean, honestly, it's just free press for his games too, because people are going to play these games and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love these games. Let's go play the original FNAF." People who never heard of it, so it's good all around. I don't see any downside for him, but obviously, a big studio doesn't want someone soiling the name, I guess. But I mean, he's just creating a separate universe for it all, saying that, so I don't see a problem. I don't know. I think it's really cool. I think more people should do it. I think as time goes on, more people are going to do it, especially as indie developers are becoming more and more prominent. Because we're seeing huge games from indie developers, where it used to be that you had to have a huge studio to do it. Now you can do it in your mom's basement, or like we're making a game, and we're just two random dudes who don't know anything, so. I think it's awesome that he's doing that.
Dang, he's even planning on making toys and merchandise based on those games and selling them for the games.
Yeah, he's going to be merchandising those games. So, again, I'm sure he's getting a cut of it. So but I don't think that's a problem because he's helping these people a lot more than they would if he didn't do any of it.
And he's also funding it just so that they could even get licensed and up onto it. So.
Oh, well then he definitely better be making a cut of it if he's funding it. Anyways, yeah, those are our 3 stories. We're probably going to do this on the off weeks from the Dumb Laws episodes. Saturdays, we're just kind of trying to relax, especially because I do bigger episodes on Sunday, and because our life's going crazy with all of our stuff we're doing with this, and we're busy, so. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was 3 random news stories, mostly in the world of gaming and or VR. You have anything you want to add before we call it quits, John?
No, not really. Just stay skeptical and have fun.
I like that, skeptical. Alright. Thanks, guys. Peace.